Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, I'm going to go over the differences between breathwork, psychedelics, and how you can use both of them to complement each other and which one is the right choice for you right now. So my name is Casey Starmer. I have over 20 years of meditation and breathwork experience. I also have extensive experience in psychedelics. I'm going to be training in a 5-MeO facilitator course this year, starting in October. So I've thought a lot about both of these subjects, or this subject in particular. And I really think it's situation to situation. So if you're coming from, a psychedelic background and you're wondering how breath work compares to psychedelics, you may have heard that with certain breathing practices that you can elicit like DMT like visuals, or you can, have psychedelic like experiences. I really want you to temper your expectations. So you can have very, very transformative experiences with breath work, but if you're coming from a place that's like you've had very intense DMT or 5-MeO ceremonies, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be its own unique experience, and there might be overlaps and parallels that you can say, hey, that was similar. You might even have like geometric like visions that are similar to psychedelics, but you're not going to have, in my opinion, the quite the intensity or the duration of a psychedelic like experience. So, on psychedelics in particular, time can slow down. So, 5 minutes can feel like hours, or if you're, smoking DMT, or especially 5-MeO DMT, where time really becomes irrelevant. You could come back and feel like you were gone for years. You're not going to really have that same experience with breathwork. And that's not to say that with breathwork, you're not going to have very deep, profound experiences, but I don't think it's going to be quite to the same level. And I don't think you use them in the same situation as you would each other. I think each is a tool to be utilized when it's most appropriate. So I'm going to go over some of the differences, in my opinion, and when you should and should not use breathwork and psychedelics, and when you can combine them, which is super rad. So one benefit I think of breath work, and I'm going to kind of use breath work and meditation interchangeably, in the sense that I think using breath work before like a traditional seated meditation practice is going to balance out the energies most effectively, and you're going to have the most long lasting benefits as a result. So meditation and breath work to me are like something you do every single day, and from my experience, meditation and breath work, they are going to have much more profound and lasting benefits because you can do them every single day. So part of your daily maintenance, like your life is determined based on your habits, right? And what you do on a daily basis. So, I'm kind of fucking repeating myself over and over again. But, point is, like, you're going to create lasting change in your personality on the long term much more with meditation and breath work. And that's not to say psychedelics won't profoundly change your life. They will, but what they do is open a window for change. So they might show you insights into things that you need to work on. They might, open a period in your life where you might be able to like take control, and gives you like the fertile soil to make the change. But a lot of the time, that fertile soil to make change needs to be accompanied with the meditation and breath work. So they work together synergistically to maximize this evolution that you might be going through. And, if someone has asked me like, oh, if you could choose one or the other for the rest of your life, like a regular psychedelic ceremonial, every month or every 3 months, or like daily meditation, I'm going to choose daily meditation every single time. It's much more grounding. It's not nearly as exciting, but there's something to be said about just surrendering to the mundane. And what I mean by that is like, we're always like chasing these big highs. And I think the ego attaches onto that and creates an image of itself that might not be actually where you're at spiritually along your path. I don't know like how healthy it is to view our spiritual progress in a linear fashion. Like, we have so many different parts of our personality that need to grow, and we go through life and we experience things and we grow based on our choices, attitudes, everything that we have control over, but also everything that we don't have control over. And there's an infinite amount of ways that we can grow. And I think breathwork, I view it, breathwork and meditation is kind of like the lubrication of life. It's just going to make everything that you do easier. It's going to make everything smoother. It's going to add a buoyancy to your life. So if you're floating, as opposed to getting caught up in the waves and getting swept under and pulled under, you're sitting on top of the waves. Just, the waves are still happening, life is still happening, but you're more buoyant, you're more resilient. Psychedelics can open that door for dramatic change and very insightful. And a lot of the times they give you answers to very deep questions that you might have about what you need to do in life, or philosophical about the nature of reality. But also a lot of the times you come out of these psychedelic, at least for me, and things are answered, but oh my God, like I have all of these new questions, and it's very humbling. And, just to avoid the trap of spiritual materialism. And what I mean by spiritual materialism is having these these experiences that were so big. And I went to Peru, and I had 30 ceremonies, and I stayed at the Temple of the Way of Light. And they're like little spiritual trophies we have. And you could do this in meditation too, where I meditated for 4 hours every single day. Okay, cool. Like, at the end of the day, how are you when nobody's around and you're doing your dishes? Like, how happy are you? What's the quality of your thought process in that moment? If someone cuts you off, are you immediately irritated and like, cuss at them, or like, fuck you, or like, I recently was talking to a friend of mine, and he was talking about a yoga teacher, and he was walking into the class. It was at a local gym, and someone cut her off, right? And she's like, fuck you, you piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. And then she comes in, and, she's all zenned out, and, find your center. And, these things aren't like congruent with each other, right? So all of my point being is, it's easy to like put big experiences on the pedestal, but the most transformative, goal that you can have is to be centered on a day-to-day basis, when it's not something that you can brag about. It's not something you can post on social media. It's not, a little trophy that you can create to feel better or more spiritual about yourself. And that's why I think meditation and breath work go really, hand in hand really well together. All that to be said, I really think that, bringing them together has, its own unique and beautiful, benefits as well. And what I mean by that, dude, I love, making a ceremony out of microdosing psilocybin and going deep into breath work. And I've had some very, very profound experiences doing so, very profound and therapeutic and clearing. And suddenly, afterwards, the world is brighter. Everything is more crisp, almost like everything is in HD. There are visuals similar to like again, a DMT, physical, but more than like the visuals, and it's the energetic experience is very different. And with breathwork, you can have a very energetic experience, and you have to be very, mindful of, not prematurely activating your Kundalini. But with psilocybin, it lifts the energy, off of you. Whatever's stuck, it lifts, and you can really manipulate the energy in your body in a way that you can still do without it, but it's kind of hit or miss. If you're going to have that experience with psilocybin, it's going to happen. And I think it's beautiful in its own way. Like at the most recent full moon, I had a beautiful ceremony, where I went out at night, I ate just a tiny little bit of psilocybin and, you know, did a 30, 40 minutes of breath work, and it was rad. So I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for suggesting this. So I'm not suggesting you do this. This is for educational only, that it could be awesome, but I'm not saying you should. Anyways, those are some of my thoughts. I'll probably rewatch this video and not even agree with, you know, some of the things that I had to say, or realize that I missed out on a lot. I do have to say that, you know, it really a little bit of clickbaity, one or the other. They're both great in different situations. So in conclusion, breathwork meditation every single day. If you're wondering about it, 100% yes. Breathwork meditation, ideally twice a day. And you can mix it up. I would not do heavy breath work in the sense that energetic breath work twice a day, and maybe not even every single day. I would throw in, you know, more traditional meditation or more calming breathwork styles. And then every month, every 3 months, whatever, everyone's different, every year even, throw in a very intense psychedelic experience, and they're going to work well together. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you watched all the way to the end. Please like and subscribe. This helps me grow my channel. And as you can see, I probably only have a couple subscribers right now, unless it's like 3 years in the future, and then hopefully the shit is popping off. But really, the best way to support me is to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Another way, because I'm not monetized yet, I am only bringing in revenue from my website, which is a clothing brand. It talks about, you know, it's the same focus as these videos, talking about meditation and spirituality. You can go to my website at remrats, REMRATS.com, and at least check it out. If you go there, maybe leave a comment on this video, what you thought, what you liked, and what you didn't like. All of the drawings are mine. And yeah, I hope you dig them. And thank you again so much for watching.